In this example, we are going to be working on the metric system. And please recall that the metric system consists of various units of measurement. And I'm going to make a little chart here. So in the center of that system, we would have the unit. That unit could be a liter, a meter, or a gram. And for liters, we would use liters when we want to measure the volume. We would use a meter when you want to measure the length, and we would use a gram when we want to measure the mass of an item. And I'm sure you've worked with the metric system before, but you can start with that unit and you can move to the left or you can move to the right. So I'm going to move to the left first, and the very next metric system unit to the left of the main unit is what we call the Deca. And in some textbooks, it depends on the publisher, they might spell this with the D-E-K-A, so it's the same thing. And Deca means that in one Deca, we would have 10 of these units, whatever they might be. To the left of Deca would be a hecto, or 100. And this is probably all coming back to you. And then to the left of that, we would have a kilo. And in 1 kilo, there would be 1,000 units. And again, I could have a decaliter, a decameter, or a decagram, and case in point all the way through these units. To the right of our major unit, we would have a deci, D-E-C-I, and there are 10 decis in 1 unit. To the right of that, we would have centi, and you could probably already fill this in for me. There would be 100 centi in 1 unit. In fact, I just want to make sure I have the 1 unit here, which I do. And then I'm going to go to the right and we will do milli. And in milli, there would be 1,000 milli in whatever the unit is. And so a quick rule of thumb is as you are moving to the left, we are dividing by a factor of 10, and as you move to the right, we are multiplying by a factor of 10. So let's do a couple of examples of where we are going to convert from one unit to another. So in my first example, I'm going to start with 3 kilometers. And I want to know how many meters there are in 3 kilometers. So you could even, one of our shortcut ways of solving these, or several ways that we can solve these. First, you need to know what the conversion is. So as I have here, in 1 kilo, there are 1,000 units. So since I'm working with meters, we can use that conversion to solve. So I'm going to show you that way first, and then I'll show you the shortcut way. So that is saying that in 1 kilometer, I'm going to write my conversion over here to the side, there are 1,000 meters. So I write what I'm starting with, which is 3 kilometers, and I'm going to write my conversion as a ratio. A ratio means that I'm going to write something as a fraction. A fraction has a numerator and a denominator. And when I'm doing a unit conversion, I want to put the part of this ratio in my numerator that has the unit that I'm trying to convert to. So since I'm trying to convert to meters, I'm going to put the 1,000 meters in my numerator over 1 kilometer so that the kilometers in the numerator of the 3 kilometers will reduce out with the kilometers in the denominator of my ratio, and now I can solve. 3 times 1,000 is 3,000, and the only unit of measurement left in my calculation here is the meters. So there are 3,000 meters in 3 kilometers. So again, when I take a unit conversion, no matter what it is, and write it as a ratio, I want to put in that numerator the desired unit of conversion. So if I wrote this the opposite way, 1 kilometer over the 1,000 meters, I wouldn't have anything to reduce out. So that should be the a sign that you might have written it. You might have made a mistake in the way that you wrote it if you had the same units in the numerator. So you want the same units, you want them diagonal to each other, one in the numerator and one in that denominator to solve. Okay, let's do another example. In this example, I'm going to start with 3 meters, and I want to convert that to decameters, and the abbreviation for a decameter is DA for deca, and then the M for meter. So I'm going to look at my chart, and I'm going to figure out what my unit conversion would be. And if we have a deca here, and I want to go, if we start here with meters and I want to go to deca, that means that in 1 deca, I would have 10 meters. So again, think of if I'm moving to the left on my metric system chart, I'm dividing by 10, but if I'm moving to the right on my metric system chart, it's as if I'm multiplying by a factor of 10. So the unit conversion that I'm going to use is 1 decameter equals 10 meters. So again, I'm going to use my conversion. I'm going to start with 3 meters, and I'm going to multiply. I'm going to use my conversion here. And because I want to end in the unit of decameter, this is what I'm going to put in my numerator. And in the denominator, I will put 10 meters. And now again, I have units that will be diagonal to each other. So a meter divided by a meter would reduce out to 1. So I have the desired unit of measurement left. And when I do the math, remember this whole number is technically written over 1. So we would have 3 times 1 when you multiply 2 fractions, and 1 times 10. So this is 3/10 decameter, and depending on the context of the problem that you're trying to solve, you might be asked to leave your answer as a fraction, as a decimal. So we know that 3/10 is also 0.3 as a decimal.